Welcome to the first today, the dawn.
Yeah, thank you, man of God. I really greet you.
We shall be man of God for
Don't
this
mind me. We are all men of God. We are all men of God. You see, no one wants to be identified
we
with
are all men
devil.
of God.
We are all men of God. We are created by God anyway.
We are all men of
So
God.
we are all men of God.
And being men of God, the same God that created us in his own image,
Oh, yes.
and said that if only we understand who we are, then we
yes.
understand we are God ourselves.
Oh, yes. He said, thou art little gods. He said we should dominate the heart. He put us in charge. So we are little gods. We are gods.
But these little girls, way they talk, nobody commit adultery past them.
You see, there's this thing with men. Because God has given us the authority to operate on our own and to make our choices. So that's why, men act funny sometimes. Like, who is going to ask me? Who is going to say, why do I do this?
Yeah.
I didn't kill anyone. I'm
Yeah.
just doing things on my own.
Me shakpanyo.
Me sharp pioneer. Thank you, man. I don't keep person now.
I don't keep person.
So I can do anything I want to do. That is it.
And talking about marriage in that aspect, which I think God created marriage in the first place, because God understood we are God ourselves, and then God Himself institute marriage. He created a man and
yes.
said to himself, "No be man haksamo." He said to himself, "It's not good for a man to be alone.
To be alone, thank you.
No give her help meet."
Oh, yes.
Person
Oh,
will go
yes.
there baraba.
Somebody that will be doing all this did on D.
Did on
The
it,
did
did
on
on
D.
D. Which leads to many divorce. That's where adultery, infidelity comes in. What is it they call? No, be infidelity they call her.
Yes, it is. Don't call it any name. It's still the same
Infidelity.
thing. Infidelity, adultery, call it fornication, call it anything. It's still the same
It's
thing.
the same thing.
Oh,
So
yes.
you can't justify it.
No,
Because
not
God
at
that
all.
created a man and gave a man one woman, not be two. Because if not two, he won't give her. He go don reason two from beginning.
From beginning. Oh, yes.
But I want to give her more.
Oh, yes. You see,
Uh-huh.
thank you on that. I said the other time that God gave us the power to make our choices.
Yeah.
And the choices we make are what we become. So people misuse that power. Oh, God said, ask, and it shall be given unto thee. You can ask God.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
But how are you doing with that demand? Do you get it? So what are you doing? Are you using it properly?
If you are talking about using it properly, let's assume God created a man now and gave a man a woman, which is a wife.
Oh, yes.
And this man now can't they pass back, or even the woman self, they pass back. They commit adultery, which is called infidelity.
Infidelity, oh, yes.
And infidelity is one of the reasons why most people go into divorce.
Oh, yes, oh,
today.
yes. The main reasons.
The main reason I be
Oh,
no be
yes.
what na him carry
Now it be the bottom line.
na him be the foundation of
Foundation. Oh, yes.
So, if God created man in his own image, did God not know that man may need more than one? Why did God now give man one in that aspect? I went through a research today online,
All right.
and I found out that men think about sex 19 times a day, per day. All men, both the men in the church and the men outside the church.
No, there's no sacred cow about this thing.
Yes, man and man.
You are a man. In
Man
as
and
much
man.
you have pump action and your generator is functioning well,
Man
it is
and man.
natural with men.
Man and man. But anyway, it's one of the top priority reasons why most couples go into divorce.
Divorce, oh, yes.
And sometimes it could be a sexual dysfunctional, which possibly the other partner, but be whoever, female or male, feels that this person is unable to jack well, because now you spoke about pump action.
Pump
there.
action. Oh, yes. Pump action.
So
Pump action.
does all men have pump action?
All men have pump action. Yes, you see, we need to consider certain things about marriage, relationship as a whole. Your physical health plays a very good role. If you take good care of yourself, there's nothing bad in you, looking after yourself, taking proper care of yourself. It's deals with your all-round well-being. So in that aspect, you would be able to function well under normal condition. Do you
Yeah.
get it? There are a lot of situations where women will allege their husband or boyfriend that they are not performing well based on certain issues she had experienced in the past.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that a lady that has been enjoying sex under influence of alcohol, under influence of drugs, that has been meeting a man with like 8 or 9 inches long, when she got married, eventually she married someone that is not more than 6 inches. She can't get the same
But
satisfaction.
6 is still okay. I think no more than 2 inches. 6 is very still okay.
6 may be still okay,
But,
but
still may
compare.
not be okay to some
That's why I said somebody that has been enjoying 9 inches long
to 6.
to 6,
She's
3
supposed-
inches different.
she's supposed
You
to get
can see.
Yeah, that's a huge problem there.
And she got married to this gentleman, a gentleman that only understands missionary, and that's all. Things can't work between them, except she pretends or she's getting her pleasure elsewhere.
Wow. Which could lead to divorce.
Very well.
It may even lead to divorce if, possibly using a woman as a case study, if the woman who was enjoying 9 inches, 10 inches, pump action before she got married to this 3.25
5
inches now,
just
and-
half the size of what she has been enjoying.
and perhaps decided to have an extramarital
Affair.
affair, would it not be much justified if such woman asks for divorce?
Yes, in that case, if she wants to be
So she
truth
can
to
be
herself,
free.
she can demand for divorce. Do you get it? And initially, you see, there are things we need to discuss before we come together. There are a lot of issues men and women need to discuss. One of it is sex.
Because sex is one of the major issues why
It's the
people
factor behind
commit
everything. You can't tell me you're a
infidelity.
pastor, you don't have sex with your wife. You can't tell me because you're a pastor, you want to meet your wife and she's not satisfied and you said that. Oh, no. She needs to be satisfied. It's your duty, your first duty to her as husband.
And I understand what you're saying, but then we also still need to understand that the church is the most secret place where you don't talk about sex, which God himself created between man and a woman. And if we are referring to people who want to continue to remain so religious in their mind and thinking in that manner, over having sex with their wife is now a sin for sex where God himself he created. And if God was the real owner of sex,
Oh, yes.
then we should go back to the manufacturer.
He initiated it. He implemented it. Let me say this. Will God punish any man by giving him manhood that it will be erecting and you wouldn't have anything to do with it? No. God will not give a woman sweet pot just to punish her. Because he knows these organs.
You don't give us sweet pot.
I call it sweet pot.
Okay.
These organs are designed for a specific task,
Of course.
and which they have to fulfill that purpose. So church not discussing sex is a terrible thing.
But why is church ashamed of talking about sex?
Over every issue where we need to discuss certain things,
Yeah.
it needs to be ironed out.
Yeah.
When there are issues in the church,
Yeah.
you need to address it appropriately.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And especially when you are a pastor and you have a lot of disciples under you, you should be concerned about their family health.
Yeah.
Things that may lead to crisis in their marriage.
Yeah.
This, you call them to yourself, address it. If it's only an hypocrite that will
Yeah.
tell me, no, don't discuss marriage or sexual issues in the
Yeah.
church. Because when this home collapse, who will be in the church with you?
Yeah. Of
No
course.
one.
Of
So it
course.
has to be discussed.
I also believe that the community also need to understand that love is a spiritual merge between a man and a woman.
Oh, yes.
And also in that love aspect, that's where we have the help of the Spirit coming
Oh,
in
yes.
for us.
Oh, yes.
Because without the Holy Ghost, we would not be what we are today.
Oh, yes.
And to enable us understand that love is a spiritual aspect of marriage, but sex is flesh to flesh.
Oh, yes.
There is nothing spiritual about sex. Although a lot of people, which I believe too as well, that sex bond people
It
together
creates bonds.
emotionally, mentally, and physically. But to be able to have the spiritual connection between sex is when you are being truthful
To eat.
to it and to this other person you are having sex with, whom possibly you call your partner,
Partner.
in
Oh,
a
yes.
relationship.
Oh, yes.
That is when there is a union of truth there. So now, if bunch of religious, practiced now
Religious bigots.
are now keeping that sweet union part of God, the holiness of God, out of the message of God, then what makes the word of God then complete?
That is not fair for anybody, to set it aside.
Yeah.
Because it is part of our life.
It's part of life.
Without sex, I will not be here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. Jesus would not have been born.
In fact, a lot of people around the world,
Yes.
not even a single soul will be in this world
Yeah,
today
Jesus
without
would not have
sex.
been gone because the idea of sex is the reason why God thought, of course, Mary could get pregnant.
Because this is a natural
Because this is a
phenomenon between man,
Man
and
and
woman.
woman. So she
And
needs
he
to get
wants Jesus to
pregnant.
come in the flesh,
In
of,
the
a
flesh
man.
of a man.
So he followed the due procedure. I think I love that. We need to be sincere with ourselves. Because certain issues are not addressed adequately. That is why the issue of infidelity comes in.
Yeah.
Because you can't justify infidelity in any way.
Yeah.
There are times when people are facing challenges within themselves, in their home. And these are what can be sorted out in the church. This is what the pastor can address. But because the pastor didn't go there, people will find solution through their own means.
And finding solution through your own means is anytime you are driving. And Jesus even said that even you will look.
Man will look now.
Man will look.
You must look. When
You
you are
must
not
look.
blind,
You would look. You will
you
see
see something
you will look.
big and round, so attractive,
will
something
look.
that bulge out at the back.
Jesus even confirmed we all looked. Are we all
No,
Jesus, or
no
Jesus,
man can deny that.
but Jesus said we all looked.
We look.
But how then can we address the issue of adultery, infidelity, which mostly leads to divorce? Should we say it's high time that a religious wife who is so religious in her means need to understand that when it comes to sex, it is flesh to flesh. You give it to your husband the way he needs it.
And give it to your wife the way she needs
The way
it.
she needs it too.
Oh, yes.
I think we should stop playing that religious role of I'm on the mountain or I'm unable to tell my wife what I'm lacking sexually. She may feel that, why should you, a high spiritual man, be thinking that way, honey? All these things plays a mental negative role in the mind of whoever it's happening to.
You as a person, me as a person, and people out there needs to understand this.
Yeah.
That my duty to my wife, everyone's duty to his or her partner
Yeah.
will be done by that person.
Yeah.
You can't go and hire someone out there.
Yeah.
Do you
of
get
course,
it?
Of course.
That's why you need to take care of yourself. That's why I said it the other time,
Yeah.
that as a man or a woman, you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah, look after yourself.
Make sure you are functional in that aspect.
And look appealing to your partner.
Thank you.
Look appealing to your partner.
Look up. You need to be functional. Whatever it takes
to be functional.
to be functional, do
Do
it rightly.
Yeah, for your partner.
Do it rightly. You are bonded to this person.
Yeah.
The only thing that brings spiritual connection between two of you is sex.
It's sex, yeah.
You can hug yourself, you can kiss, you can cuddle, you can do anything.
But you also know, I love what you said there, but you also understand that you can be in love with somebody and not feel sexually aroused for them. Yet, you can be in love with them, of course. That is why it is much easier for a man to possibly, who is having extramarital affair, to be bond with this one person is born with and love that person so much, and then love to have sex with someone else whom possibly he may not love. What am I trying to say there? That is how deep sex is. That is how deep sex is. You don't need to love anyone to have sex with them.
Oh, no. If you're talking about men here,
Yeah, you don't need to love.
a man can get sex anywhere.
He can get sex anywhere.
Without exhibiting any traces of love.
Yeah, for that
That
person
is
there.
how men
Men
are.
are, yeah,
You get
naturally.
it? A man will only give his heart to one woman. No, he may appreciate some women around him, but that doesn't mean he loves them. a man will only give his heart to one woman. It may not be the woman he got married to.
Of course.
But because he's in that marriage, he will make sure he's doing everything that is done on him to do.
As a husband.
As the husband.
As a married
as
man.
a father in the house.
As a father, as a head of the family.
As the head of the family.
So you're saying now that the possibility of playing such a role and taking the role of where his heart is could be played in marriage.
It could be played.
If it could be played, there are those that play as well. But then the question is, why are you then, the man, deceiving yourself, whom you know that you've gotten married to, or the woman likewise?
Of course,
we're talking for both
it can
genders
go
here.
either side.
So why are you there? Like I said from beginning, that is it not much better to be truthful to oneself and go for a divorce and be free and not sin in adultery before God, rather than being in that marriage and then doing what we all know it's adulterous.
It's not good.
It's not good.
You see, it's
a sin. You
a
go to
man-
hellfire.
a man
God
or
will judge you with it. You know, God that created the sweet pot will judge you with it for trying to have an extramarital affair out there.
Oh, yes.
And when you know you could just easily have a reason not to do that.
Oh, yes.
And having a reason not to do that, the best reason which you could ever have is you
Yourself.
to decide
Of course.
that it's okay. I can always have sex anywhere. I can always do this anywhere.
But I don't want to do it.
It's normal. I can do it if we say it norm. But I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. That is it. The choices we make are what we become. You see, a greedy person, a selfish person,
Yeah.
we have 10,000 reasons to justify his or her act.
Yeah.
Some will give excuse that they're into extramarital affair because of this factor.
Yeah.
Yet they are not ready to let go the other person
The other person.
without considering the pain they are inflicting on that person.
Thank you.
Do you get it?
Thank
So
you.
it's if you know you are not satisfied with this person any longer,
Yeah.
if you know you don't have this connection with that person again, you can easily just tell him or her. You guys should sit down and discuss it. Sort it out.
Yeah.
Then go your separate ways. If this person is willing and eager to forgive, then try to work on it and make sure that doesn't happen again. You get it? If your partner is ready and more than willing to forgive,
Yeah.
okay, you have done this, and you open up to me. I love that. Then the partner realizes the person in talk is very, very remorseful about it.
Yeah.
Then I believe I can work on it. Then we can sort it out. We can make amends.
Yeah.
Then please just make sure it doesn't happen again. There are a lot of couples that have gone through that and they are doing fine today.
Yeah.
You get it?
Of course.
And there are those that find it difficult to just forgive
just
such
forgive
acts.
and then let
They will
go.
just tell the person. Then when it happens that way, understand this. It has happened. I am the cause of it.
Yeah.
Do you
Man
get
up.
it? Man up.
Man
If I'm going to say woman up, just woman up.
Woman up.
Yes, that
Woman
is
up.
it. You caused it.
I've been I'm the reason for
if
this
you
whole mess.
continue to enslave your partner in that relationship
Yeah.
while you are still in that naughty act, don't forget as time goes on, you are holding them down year after year. And when your partner discovered you've been cheating on him for the past 10 years, it's like a waste.
Yeah.
Because 10 years out of his life is just like a waste.
So now, to avoid 10 years being wasted out of any
Years they've been together.
any gender right now, to avoid that 10 years, is it not high time we start being truthful to ourselves?
That's the
that God
best thing we
created
can do.
sex. God loves sex. God wants sex to be the most sweetest thing God ever created. I think it's sexual.
Do you know one thing I love about the scriptures, the Bible? Bible checks every aspect of life that a man or a woman can be involved.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sex, Bible did not tell us this is how a man should have sex
No
with his wife.
preferences.
Not at all. It is how you want to do it. You get it? Bible did not check us. It did not place any limit to it. And Bible make us understand that your body does not belong to you, it belongs to your partner. So if your partner wants it morning, afternoon, and night, give it to him or her.
And these are things, of course, that should be discussed about during courtship.
Definitely.
During courtship, to
Just-
avoid divorce.
Just as you said,
To avoid
it
divorce.
needs to be sorted out. You guys need to discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is your home. You will be in that home.
Yeah.
So why can't you just discuss your do's and don'ts, your needs, physically, materially, and
Sexually.
spiritually, sexually?
Sexually.
You need to discuss it.
Because I see what Hebrew said. Hebrew said, let marriage be held in honor among all,
Oh yes.
and let the marriage bed be undefiled.
Defied. Oh yes.
For God will judge the sexual immoral and adulterous. Within a marriage, partners are meant to be faithful to God and to each other. Now, why are you now deceiving yourself, trying to tell God you can do it, you are perfect, when you know within you,
That
you
you are
cannot fulfill this?
Imagine. That's why I said people are deceptive in nature. Do you understand? And because,
And also religiously.
yes, see,
People are deceptive religiously.
I will be judged based on my act,
Okay.
based on my behavior.
Yeah.
Do you understand? If I deceive you, I've only deceived you. And that doesn't mean you did not know.
No, I think
You
God,
may choose not to ask me.
but I think God will judge every man according to their religion. No.
Not according to their religion.
Really?
No, forget
Okay,
it.
They won't forget that one. Then, just leave down for one corner. You've already answered. You were saying something.
Yes, if I lied to you, not that you don't know, you may choose not to ask me. You may choose to overlook it. Then let's assume you did not know. I can't deceive you and deceive myself at the same time. I know I lied.
To avoid divorce, let's be truthful to ourselves.
We just have to be truthful
Through
to
the
ourselves.
courtship.
Do you understand? Okay, when I claim I love someone and I'm doing something irrational behind a back or behind his back, then he comes to me, I lie to him. When I'm alone, then I'm like, I scope him. He doesn't know I lied to him. Am I fooling that person or I'm fooling myself?
Or possibly you are about to cut this person and whom you think you are having feelings for. It is always also better that as you guys are both talking about the next Sunday school service or the next prayer meeting, be discussing as well how their sexual life is. Because that aspect would also play another key point for divorce in marriage.
Oh, yes.
Because we tend to me, in my opinion, we tend to take the conversations of sex out of courtship conversations because we feel that it is a sin, very immoral, to talk about sex that God himself created and which is the main key purpose of marriage. Sex is the main key purpose of marriage.
Yes, and another funny thing is that, do you know people give a lot of excuses to why they venture into adultery, extramarital affair?
Well, which first needs to first be understood sexually in that marriage first. Because one of the key reasons which I think we should talk about is on satisfaction at home. One of the key reasons.
Yes,
Mostly
you are
the key
right.
reason.
You are right.
Mostly the key reason.
You are right.
And you and I know that most adults that are getting married today,
do-
none of them be virgin.
Do you know one funny thing? Now they romance their acts with some funny issues.
You know you are not a virgin.
You
know
he
I'm not
couldn't
a
meet
saint.
up with my needs.
But I know you are not a virgin during the courtship.
Yes.
You know I'm not a saint during the relationship.
Oh, yes.
Let us both talk about that aspect. I believe that during relationship, I believe that it is very vital for both partners to both talk about how much they love sex.
It is very, very
and
important.
the kind of sex they love to have.
It is very, very
because
important.
this is a very key point for divorce.
It
which
causes
causes
a lot of
infidelity.
crisis.
Why are we deceiving ourselves?
We are not just being sincere to ourselves.
Why are we saying sex is not too good for a very holy person? Who is very holy person?
I don't know who is holy.
Who is very holy person?
I don't know who is holy. I don't know who is holy
Why
because
are
we
both
keep lying to
we keep
ourselves.
lying to ourselves.
Who is holy? Does your being holy has something to do with your sexual activities?
Why you do marry her to enslave her? Why do you marry him to enslave them?
That is it. Why
If
do you
you
marry
know-
that person to punish that person in the first place?
And now the issue of divorce is something that is so critical, and then most religious people, I think, are afraid to come out boldly and say they want to divorce because of the crisis there too as well, the image, the tarnishment. So, but then they are dying in marriage.
Yes, you see, I think I also understand this, that a lot of people don't have this proper knowledge when it comes to sex. They don't know how to approach issues about sex.
About sex, yeah.
Will I say they are not confident enough or don't know how to come into it? Do you get it?
Yeah.
But in this modern world, for any courageous person, you should be able to come out and speak boldly. You are talking about your interest here.
I like that word you just mentioned, interest.
You are talking about your interest. Yeah.
Which we always mostly take out of our personality during courtship.
Oh, yes, because I observe a healthy man and a healthy woman. There is no way, if they are not troubled, there is no way they can be together as couple that they would not arouse. When you see what will make a man, just expand his 360 eyes, well, we see what will make a woman speak in a different tongue. No. The attraction is there. This attractiveness is natural. Do you get it?
Yeah.
It is something within you that will trigger you. You can't tell me, you are just being principled about it. That's why if anybody cheats, that's a choice he or she makes.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
And if you choose not to cheat, it's a choice you make.
Yeah.
I used to say this funny thing, that Joseph chose not to sleep with Potiphar's wife. If it was David that was in that position, what do you think will happen?
What if Joseph too as well did not get his choice of a woman? Because every man has a choice.
That is one thing, but it's a good thing because we read it that he didn't go in the end.
In the end, he didn't go in.
He didn't go in.
But then the possibility of that woman as well not being his choice, I'm bringing out a point from there. We understood that Joseph chose not to lay with Potiphar's wife. But then we also need to understand that your partner in the marriage that choose to commit adultery, infidelity, that may lead to divorce, may necessarily not be seeing that one that he likes, that makes you think this person is very faithful, this person is I can keep myself for this, my partner. But then all of a sudden, after 16 years down the line, 22 years down the line, or let's just even talk about the new ones that are getting married now. 7 years down the line, you realize you brought a maid home and your partner committed infidelity.
And started choking the maid, which will lead to divorce, of course, now, because you don't commit infidelity already. So now, should we now say, maid, Baba like today? because you can leave them with classic partners out there like friends, and they may not even do anything with them. And you feel this person is so faithful to you, thinking this person is so faithful, they will not do that. Now, laying with maid, we need to understand, what if this maid understood Baba language better than the wife? It is, you see, Baba is at fault.
I
need to blame Baba. It is not about Baba has not seen his choice all this while. Do you get? Baba is not disciplined.
That's where decision comes in.
Baba is not disciplined. If Baba is disciplined, Baba wouldn't go there. This is a maid. Do you get it? A lot of men are stubborn. A lot of men are crude. Likewise, some women. Do you get it? This is me. And this is what I choose to do.
Yeah.
I don't have any excuse to it. There is no self-justification at all.
Yeah.
I got married to someone for more than 10 years, for more than 15 years, for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Now come a time that I feel it is just one maid.
Yeah.
You see, there will be issues in marriage which you can always sort out at every point in time. That is why communication, plays a very important role. Discuss it out.
Yeah.
Make it a normal thing.
During courtship.
even during marriage, discuss often,
Yeah.
raise issues,
Yeah.
make references.
Yeah.
No, there was a time I was doing this thing. Whenever anything comes to my mind, or whenever something happens to someone I know, I throw it open to my wife that this is the issue that happened to so person, and this is how he managed it. This happened to so person,
Yeah.
and this is what happened. I need to learn from her. I want to know her opinion about that thing.
Yeah.
Not because I'm doing it,
Yeah.
but just to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, which is very important too as well.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
There's no way a man or a woman will be with another person that you wouldn't know this is not my husband, this is not my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I love conscience. It will check you at a point in time.
Yeah.
It's because we don't give attention to it.
We don't
You
give
still
attention
go
to it.
ahead in that act and
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
Then when it happens, when that person is being caught, it will tell you it's the work of the devil. It's the devil or me.
Now, David will collect the whole blame later. Today, our discussion on the first podcast is about divorce, issues of divorce, and what leads to divorce. And infidelity is one of the reasons why most people dive into divorces these
Yes.
days. And there are diverse of ways we can avoid a divorce, like infidelity. How can we stop infidelity? I think we need to check ourselves during courtship. That is when I feel that a man and a woman should be open-minded to each other while you're both talking about your physical, statics and your emotions and your mental health. Dive into sexual conversations too as well, because God created sex and He made it clear that He created it for man and woman purposely in marriage. So if you know this person is someone you're leading or heading into marriage with, why are you taking the sexual aspect of conversations out of the
Away.
whole equations?
No.
Get to know your partners very well. Let them know much about you, your fantasies. God did not give references on how partners or couples should have their sex. So if you're the type who like it from, doggy,
Any
you are,
angle.
you are the type who likes it from flip.
Even if she would like to hang her legs on the ceiling,
Please,
let her do that.
please always have these conversations with your partners during courtship.
And one more thing, Froze. Tell him, if you are 7 inches brand, if you are 9 inches type, tell him, you who love 9 inches, 6 inches can be okay for you.
And if you know you could manage 6 inches to replace the 3 that is missing from the 9, you tell him you like to have yours as breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And dinner.
For the equation,
To balance.
because at the end of the day, 3 times 3,
That's nice.
that's 9. So this way, to avoid the issues of infidelity in marriages, and also which always leads to divorce. Divorce is not a good thing.
No, not at all.
Not at all for anybody. It's not a good thing. It's not something you want to experience. And divorce in a whole is not even justifiable to want to have a divorce because your partner is sexually weak. These are things we can always avoid. Let's have this conversation during our relationship before we head into yes, I do. Because yes, I do is not the glamorous event you think you are having where people are sharing you up with your 6 feet cake.
Imagine.
Marriage is beyond your 6 feet cake.
Oh my God.
So I think these are conversations we should have as Christians and our communities. These are conversations we should boldly and openly have with our partners before we dive into a conversation of I think, I do. Sex is beautiful. Don't deprive your partner of good sex.
Oh, yes.
This is a Frost podcast. Your voice is heard.